Let us begin. Sly will be making an appearance in a little bit. We want to set a stage, so to speak. Life in and of itself is endless. And I want you to take that into the accountability of your daily isness, not as giving thanks or to be gracious to another, but rather as self-evident. There has not been a waking moment in your awareness of your own life that you have not been present in that moment, which tells you your existence is once again self-evident. The perils of humanity, the fears, the joys, the losses, the hopes, the dreams, the shatterings, the scandalous, the hateful, the sorrowful, the mournful, the hopeful, the respectful, the grateful. All of these are the experience in and of itself of life. Tonight's theme is reap what you sow. What you put out is what you get back. Gives a different slant on that biblical slang, didn't it? Most of it is slang. Built up on scholars of time, put into a fashion beyond the normalcy. Things are written in plain text and admired by humanity for their beauty. And humanity grabs the beauty and extends it as a passion, maintains it as a purpose, and then destroys it as an image. And we change, don't we? See, human. It is human. So there are things in time, in life, that are changing. And this frightens some of you. Change is truly the only constant. These laws that we have provided you through many different ideologies of messengers have provided you with the fundamental enactment of creation. These laws allow creation to remain, never to be extinguished, and never to be the same. Never to be led, and never to be followed. Each self masters is free. We know why you're here. You want to understand yourself. You want to understand your truth. You seek others to guide you. And you have been guided. At the fundamental turning point of self-awareness, there is a knowing that steeps in, surrounds you, binds you, fulfills you, with your existence self-evident, your divinity known. Your scholars have given you the words, and those words have been slanted. For human does their best every moment. Time and memory lies purpose, meaning, conjecture, conspiracy, theory. Without time, there's only now. Now lies no fear, no danger, no hope, no regret. Now is life. Always has, always will. It is law. The presence of you has been discounted through the teachings of humanity. And to release that, it takes a master. Not one that looks to be released, rather one that releases, that has staged itself in formula. The formula of perseverance, courage, temperance, humility, surrender, allowance, and trust. It does not forge forward to become something else, for it is all that is. And to discount yourself is to forge your human. And sense masters that lie before me know their humanness in its memorization, in its versatility, in its completeness, have chosen to see change. You have attracted yourselves to you, not in individuality, not in personality, not in history nor future, no image, no identification. You have attracted yourselves here for your worth. Worthiness is a human term, but as humans evolve, you use measurements of time, status symbols, to be aware of your own movement. Most of you spend time and age, accomplishments to measure your value. We're talking about the ascension ladder to climb. And when you see a truth and you have that truth that is self-evident, created and now destroyed by you, not deconstructed in the way of making it non-existence, not desolation, change. Premate, change. This change is why you are here. At one time, why and how and who and where and what was evident. It was repeated daily. It was valued by your teachers, your parents. It was valued by your media, your authorities, your leaders, and followers. Today, you can understand these things are no longer needed. Is there a reason how things happen? No. The ego mind loves how things happen. The personality. It is just a matter of focus. It is not something to be extinguished, praised, or abhorred. It is something to be observed and chosen. The discernment of spirits is alive and well in all of you. Change comes and you fear. You fear the change within you. It is not the external change. It is the reflection of choice within to change. Much change in your world today. But I'm wondering if you see something. Are you going to sow that so you may reap that change externally? Or are you going to sow your own seeds within your kingdom. I'll give you Sylvester. It was a nice entrance. I enjoyed that. Got some people coming in and out. Greetings all. Sylvester's here. So first I want to talk about me as change. When Roxy met me, there was many versions of me that shuffled through her mind, and she had to connect with one of them as a relative truth that gave her the experience of connecting with Sylvester, the singularity that I am. And as she ascends this world, as you all are ascending this world, this co-created bubble of humanity, your relationship dynamically changed just because of your own existence, A, and B, the aware choice of change within the kingdom allows change to happen in its rapidity and also its absolute, let's say, scared shitless. So when Roxanne met me, there was a version of Sly that I was. And she has a guru that's not a physical guru, non-physical at one time. And Cece has said to Roxanne the first time uh, she channeled me, and she goes, "That's you, 99%." And Roxy didn't understand that because she was still caught up in image. Well, who the fuck is Sly? Ophiuchus, Ophiuchus, Buford, and all these people. They were identities to Roxy. See, they were identities. And identities encouch you within the frequency of the identity. You might as well call me a water bottle. And that's the extent of me because that's all the water bottle exists. But I'm not the water bottle. I am what the water bottle emits. The singularity is Sly. What I put out is my truth. That's how you guys connect with each other. You don't connect with the truth of me. You can't because I am the truth of me. You connect with the what? What you put out is what you get back. We're going to get to the reaping the sowing thing in a minute. Give me something, Roxy. What do you got? What is that? No, Tammy, you're in the wrong meeting. Okay, so let's talk about vibration for a second. I put off an energy of truth, right? See, when you walk into a room, don't you feel something? I bet if you walked in the room and two people were just kissing and you didn't see them kissing, but you know they were fucking kissing. You know when someone just got out of an argument. See, that's what they're putting off. And that's what I need you to see. I need you to see the energy that is expressed. And that's a neutral universe to you. Non-neutral is an empty. That's one of the things Bashar said. Bashar said it's a neutral world until you assign it meaning. And people go, well, I'm saying it's positive. Why the fuck is it in positive? Well, numbnuts. It is neutral, but it's a truth of neutrality that you assign through your subjective truth, your subjective I am, what you are interpreting. And since you only know a version of yourself that was born on this earth and coveted everything that your society said was true, that you allowed to be true, and the diversions that the world provide in diversity in and of itself only leaves you a babbling mass of identity, jumping from one thing to another, trying to figure out who the fuck you are through the outside mirror. So of course you're going to interpret that through the human, and you're only going to get human results, right? Good. So if you want to go beyond that, then we got to start thinking in terms of vibration beyond the identity. Because the identity in what? Identity in its imagery, in itself, in its water bottle form, lies where? Ready? The identity lies in the memory. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your husband, your wife, your employer, if they're not here and now, they are in your fucking memory. So you are using the interpretation of them in the closest memory in the moment created. Because remember, the now creates the memory, so the now creates the past, and now creates the future off of the past, of course. So in the now, you're memorizing the vibration of the self that draws in the memory. That's why you guys forget some things and remember other things, right? Because it's always according to the vibration of the moment. That's why each fucking moment is brand new and unique in and of itself. Nothing is tied to anything else unless you say it is. Ta-da! All right. So that vibration that I'm putting out says Sly, but it doesn't identify Sly. It's the change of Sylvester. It's what I am. So Roxy gets the vibration connection and she allows it to fulfill her. And then she and I become Sloxy. And then the channel ability that she's crafted allows my will, W-I-L-L, to pass through her. Not my infringement of free will upon her. That's your fucking diarrhea. That's your victimization. Stop. She's a co-creator. So everyone's passing through everyone. There's no fucking secret. There's no privacy. Everyone knows everyone's everything except you humans because you're only using yourself as the reflection in the memory to understand life. And in the memory, if you have a secret, then that moment it's a secret. Unless you tell someone and then you remember you told someone, now it's not a secret. We're starting to sow, aren't we? We're starting to sow a little bit. Okay. So when Roxy met me, she can only interpret a version of me because she has filters. And as Roxy evolves and depletes filters, more flow, right? That's the same for all of you. In Roxanne's ego class, she likens it to the idea of a beaver dam damming up a river and all the mud and the sticks slowing it down. See, the flow that's naturally coming to you is the river, and your ego, your belief system, is the dam. And how thick and muck filled it is with the idea of the discernment of truths that you have allowed to be the truth of you in time, then you only can perceive that vibration through that filter. So Roxanne also uses your whole self shows you a picture of a rose and you only can see it as a tulip. It's red and you only see it as yellow because that's all that can get through that equates to the version of a connectivity, the vibrational match to give you that interpretation, therefore that experience of the now. Good. So as Roxanne changes, I change. But I'm not changing because of Roxanne. I'm always changing and so are you. And how Roxanne sees me is the perception of her own reality. This is how she is. This is how you all are. You guys, first and foremost, let's be a fundamental as a human here, not the nature of humanity in the idea of separation, but let's look at the human. The first thing you want to understand that we perceive through Roxanne's work in the last 7 years is that you need to get a hold of that this shit is yours. It's no one else's. How you experience reality is because of your interpretation. Because interpretation gives you the emotion and the truth of that you filter. So if someone does a good deed, if somebody does a good deed, right? You look at that through a good deed filter. Therefore, you get the emotional of that good deed. Like Roxanne, when she's listening to Beethoven and Amadeus. When it's Beethoven, Requiem in D, she cries every fucking time. She just sits here and melts, right? Because the filter of that is so far gone that she only gets the absolute authenticity of it. And since she is an infant bleeding in her own worthiness, she can't help but to cry. And it's not the kind of crying of good and bad, it's the absolute worthiness cry, the one that just melts your heart. Now, there's other filters. So the other filters are someone that said if you wear a mask, you're wearing a cloth diaper. Now, that was the angry filter. So here we are in the middle of an unknowable pandemic. And these uneducated motherfuckers that never graduated high school and got holy dirty fucking underwear and don't clean their kitchen is making an assessment about a human being that is opposed to them because it doesn't liken to their truth and they have to make fun of them. So Roxanne now is angry at the person and wants to slaughter them, just absolutely gut them and eat their heart out in front of their children and then smear the blood on their children and say, here you go, here's your fucking father's heart. Have fun with that. Why? Well, because she hates. She has the depth of hate and she's working through it. It's not her hate in the idea of ownership. It's her creative belief system that she values as her hate. So it means one thing, it's changeable. So she works on it, right? Good. So she hates people, and so she works on it. And then she got a hold of her little guru friend, and the guru friend, you skinny fucking bitch, shut the fuck up and get back into sowing and reaping. She's like, I got lost. So what does that mean? Do you need to transcend or transfigure every belief system that is interpreted? Is interpreted? The answer is, of course not, because there's no one in charge, so there's no fucking rules. The laws are the enactment of existence itself, but you are not governed by the laws in behavioral aspects or judgments. Your experiences of the laws are the experience of the human existence. Okay, so let's look at that. So since you are interpreting realities, you get an emotional stance, and since you are truth about that emotion and that truth, you take a stance. And the stance in human is polarized, so it's separated. So Roxanne is angry at people that are against people. I don't care if they wear masks or not, but why make fun of somebody? It was her argument. And then she's like, well, I'm not fucking arguing. It's like, why am I taking a goddamn side? Oh, I'm working on myself. But then right at that instant, now it becomes something else because it's realized in the now. We're not fucking with time here. In the now, she can sow and reap another now, can't she? She doesn't have to keep working on her fucking anger, does she? No, she doesn't. Because anger at this fundamental discernment point is now created, not memoried. Because the personality now, her memory in the now, is where she wasn't getting her anger from. She was getting it from what she sowed in the now. So now it's a whole new slant. It's a whole new thing for her. She's like, motherfucker. Here we go again. Which taught her something. You know what it taught her? That there ain't no fucking end to this game. The human game ends, but not the everlasting I am game. Don't worry, human emotions will go away. You'll understand what it is to be motion. You'll understand what it is to be a persona, your natural self. That's what Cece was telling me in regards, or telling Roxy in regards of me. She's a fucking fire sign. She's a goddamn fucking bat out of hell. She's a dragon that doesn't belong on your fucking planet because she doesn't listen to the ideas of hostility in the idea of what? Submission. Fuck no. Someone at Rotary yesterday. Oh, there's a guy that said, "Bak, bak, 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 bak." What's your opinion? Roxy said, fuck that guy. He's the human. Got his diarrhea all over you. And you're debating your own isnness because you're interpreting his value more than your value. Booyah. Right? Okay. So when I'm expressing, and when you're expressing, you're giving all of creation truth that's filled with a vibratory experience for others that co-create that now with you, right? And that now is forever because it's now. Nothing goes away. But it doesn't remain the image that you think it does, because that's the water bottle. It doesn't remain the water bottle. The vibration of expression is in the now, and it stays there forever. It's your truth. Even though you are in this now, focusing a new truth and a new experience of change that lies in the now, not in time, this now is still present. So 10,000 years ago, each and every one of you were alive and well in an idea of an expression. And in that expression, I run across it and I know you. But I don't know you in identity. I don't know your social security number. I don't know your history. I don't give a flying fuck what you do for a living. I have no idea and don't give a fuck what you image. Because I'm not interested in the image because I'm not human. What I'm interested in is what's attracted to me. And if it is you, then I know you that way through your expression. So what are you expressing? What are you sowing? What are you reaping? What you put out, what you sow, is what you get back, what you reap. Now, let's go to the next movement of this, once again, to reiterate what you put out is not negative, and what you get back is not negative, nor is it positive, nor is it in between. It is unconditional, unjudged, absolute, vibratory, stout, full of isness expression. And you are not attracting back a negative situation. But I bet your sweet ass you are interpreting it as negative situation because you harbor and value the memory of the moment that gives you the equation of that seen now experience as the now memory. It's not the past. Right, Max? It's not the past. There is no past. Past time is created in the now. Yesterday is because you say it is now. It's not because it's yesterday, it's now. So when you get a version of something that is horrific, and remember, 99.9% of your reactions are reactions. Why? Because you don't know the self. You only know the memory of you, the reactionary self, until someone gets a hold of you. How do we react? When things get unstable is where you guys react. When you are out of your set ways and you get upset, then you react, which exposes yourselves, not to them, the way you are in interpreting the reality that you are attracting. But let's not look at the reality as a definement. Let's look at the reality as truth, the neutral idea, but yet full of life. So in the planet, you guys come up with that. I fucking love. I fucking love the term Karens. It's exquisite. So sorry, Karen, in the chat. Karens out there, and these are good people in the idea of society. They're responsible. They have bills. They have kids that are losing their fucking minds because of the change. And they have to assign it to someone. They have to get out that anger and that rage because they're afraid. Because there's no knowing other than the memory of the self, right? The image. what they were, not what they are. What they are is a reaction in the now. Don't you see that? How many of you would behave any way that you would unless you are not reacting? Huh? What would you behave as? The unknown you? How many of you act in the idea of your courageous self, unknowable? Very difficult, isn't it? Oh, you can't do it. When things are all gleaming and hunky-dory and rainbows and lollipops, you have an easy time being your natural self, but not for long, because if you do too good, then you'll start to, oh man, I don't know, man, this is too good. I got to fuck things up and get back to a little bit of pain. So you guys always cycle, right? That's pretty fucking obvious. So these Karens are reacting because they don't know anything else except their memory. So that's the reactionary self according to the change in front of them, because they don't know the constant change, and they have every absolute truth in them that tells them they're going to die and be judged and be afraid forever, grinding themselves in hell and then burning and pulling their fucking soul apart forever. And that's every goddamn religion in your current memorization of your current generations. Everyone has that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is that memory? I'll give you it. Ready? Some of you got it. Very good. In your goddamn DNA. Every single human life is encouched in you. Every single one of them. Every single strand of human experience is in your memory. How fucking phenomenal is that? Because I don't know, maybe one or all and all are one. Do you really think there's division? There's division in your memory, but not in your now. Not in your now. That's where you find the personality, isn't it? The one that needs to have its suffering, the one that needs to cry out of emotion, the one that needs to fear, and the one that needs to be happy and hopeful. When are you guys not happy as perceived happiness attained? When a joyous moment comes upon you without expectation, when you're having an orgasm, in the moment of a good meal, very, very little time, right? Very little time are you actually in your moments of now. Most of it is spent in your memory, how you're supposed to react and interact according to the belief system that you sow, the way you're supposed to behave, right? The way you're supposed to behave. And since you knew that, and only that, well, relax. Can I reiterate something for you? You can't get the experience of separation unless you separate it. You started off living in the idea of a memory, a created memory as soon as you got to the game of no memory, no self. So of course, you don't know anything. Relax. Is it anybody's fault? No. Should you have ever known better any time in your life? Absolutely not. You can't know better. You're always knowing. It's the choice of the knowings that makes you your experience. And that's the sowing. And what you reap is the experience of the sow. What you put out is what you get back. That's why they put it in that order. Right? This really isn't an order because it's sequentialtaneous. It's good water. Anyways, so I want you to see that the group in front of me is not special and is not anything to be praised. None of you. What you are is creation itself, and that cannot be measured. So look at this group of masters, Roxanne loves the term master, Sisyphus introduced it, because we are considered ourselves mastery to master ourselves. Now, that's a human idea, and yes, it's absolutely valid, but it's the relationship to mastery. So Roxanne says, let's get some masters in here so we can expand each other in the human experience to go beyond the human experience. Yes. So the masters are here are not special. What are you? Realized. That's what you are. You're aware of the self. Now let's take away everybody else who has imaged themselves in a memory as the idea of ascending or awake or whatever. Forget about everyone else. Blank your memory out, okay? And let's consider yourselves on a journey now. And this is a brand new moment, which it is. And whatever you are reminded of is the way you're remembering, creating it as a memory in the now to be reminded. But it's all brand new. And it's not like you forgot something, because it's just another now of another evolved self. So those reminders are new selves realized. So I want you to look at let's look at the sewing. So when Roxanne got angry and got mad at someone and she hated again, she realized that that moment was a sewing. It wasn't a memory because she created the hate in the moment. She didn't react to it. Now that's a feeling that she trusted, which is an evolution of self. Now, what does that mean? When your anger is reacting, when your sorrow is reacting, and a lot of you guys know when you're fucking repeating yourself. Don't sell yourself short on your own awareness, and you got to take a big bite, big fucking dump load, truckload of humility. And know when you're going back just for the fashion of having an image because you don't know what else to do with yourself. So since this unknown self feels so fucking empty and fucking weird and you're scared to death, you run back to the drama so you can have an image for another day. Not right or wrong, but you know that fear, that hate, that sorrow, that anger, you know it as a reflection. That, masters, is the discernment of spirits that we spoke of when we created your books. That discernment of that discernment of spirits. You know when you're being a Memorex. Roxanne loves that term. A lot of you in Roxanne's age, is it real or is it Memorex? But see, Roxanne was creating a reality because she had coveted so much the idea. She got to know her anger as an object. But this one wasn't an object. She wasn't mad at that was reacting. She wasn't assigning it the ego reaction. She was creating it as an experience. And that has a different quality. And you got to feel it because it's alive. So what are we talking about here? We're leaving the world. We're leaving the world. Welcome back. We're leaving the world of intention, which only lies in the memory. Intention is memory. Okay? Time and memory. But you can't intend anything in the now because it's already over. You would have to keep constantly intending every moment. What you do literally to create an outcome is in the now, you vibrate to a reality of next step as a truth. The intention's already gone. Now your action of a plan. That's how you get things. And then what do? You create the memory of the journey. The journey occurred, of course, but now it's in your memory, isn't it? Okay. So intention lies in the gestalt of the personality. The now creates. The now does not react. You have to sow in order to reap. So now we're talking about the will of the now. We're not talking about the human reaction to the fucking now and trying to figure out what to do about it. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I know? How do I what about this? What about that? Yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, you butt your fucking selves. You already got one ass. Why do you need 1,000? Stop. Okay? Yeah. Guys, this is going to run a little longer. We got another speaker that's going to come in. But if you guys got to leave, you can leave. I mean, I know we're only 50 minutes into it, but it's going to run a little longer tonight because we got another speaker coming. So when Roxanne was angry at the person, she realized in that after she talked to Cece, because Cece gave her a reflection, which is a point of view that she looked at and realized because she wasn't looking at it as why, she was looking at it through humility, which is surrender and allowance. Because remember, guys, you guys can't die, right? You can't die. No one dies. All of you have experienced hundreds and thousands of deaths, from the most peaceful to the most fucking atrocious. Atrocious, Rock? Atrocious. Everyone dies, but you don't die, you experience a death. So let's not fear that, okay? Yeah. So here. When I'm creating a will of the now, I'm not intending anything. I am that. And in the moment, it's unfolding in front of me. See, the human thinks in time. So in order for something to be created, you have to have the image in mind and then follow time to get there. Like Roxanne's projects around the house. She sees it, she orders it on Etsy, it comes, and then she puts it up, and then she lives the experience because she lives in time. Well, that's part of the game, but that's time of the now, not time in memory. It becomes a memory tomorrow, it becomes a memory, right? Now, it's now. But in the morning, it's a memory, this now, right? So tomorrow, this becomes a memory. We're just using time for that. But anyways, so when I'm creating now, I'm attracted to an infinite number of realities, and I go to all of them because they're all now, so I get to take my time and go to all of them. What order do I do them in? It doesn't matter because none is better than the other. That's why I'm telling you guys, guys are just run-of-the-mill fucking average gods. Everyone is beyond fucking compare. Everyone here is priceless, outstanding, right? Because we're creators. We are life, divinity itself. And start steeping that in. Come on. Let's let it sink into the fibers of your own existence. I am. All right. So Roxanne realized through that interpretation that unknowable now, she realized she was sowing at that moment. Now, if you look at time, there's got to be a reason why she sowed that anger. Well, it wasn't a reason in time. It was a value of the now, a value of potential so she can experience herself remembering. Because she is sowing the remembrance of Roxanne. Not Roxanne the whole. Roxanne the whole is Roxanne the whole. Roxanne this is Roxanne. A new personality that lies in the now, that's a portion of herself created as an always and forever self realized, which just blows time in your mind out of the water as a human. But the human cannot conceive without the value of time and placement. So therefore it can't understand itself already and has always been forever. You were at the beginning of time. I am the Alpha and now I'm the Omega. I am the beginning and now I'm the end. I am, right? So anyways, so she was sowing something at that moment. So why did she sow a particular idea of anger? Well, she's very good at being angry because she played an angry part as a human. She's a fire sign, and that has something to do with it. Especially if she got a buddy in Ophiuchus, right? And he's a big sign. So Ophiuchus was talking to her about the fire signs. And the fire signs are personality. And as a persona, when you come to a place that values personality, you might as well be what you are. So she's a fire sign. And that gives her some insight to herself. So fire signs are living on the edge. They don't give a flying fuck. And they fucking hate authority. They fucking hate authority. They hate them. So she hated being told what to do. And she was punished for it. And that's why her hate grew. Because every time she tried to not be herself and be what they wanted her to be, they still punished her through judgments, right? And we're not just talking her coveting parents and family, we're talking society, right? Because everyone is separated and they rely on the energy of another for the value of themselves. That's why Karens are running all over the fucking planet. That's why you have Brads and Karens and police and everything, because no one knows themselves. They only know the image, and the image is changing, and they need to hold on to it, so they react like stuck pigs going to fucking slaughter, right? Ta-da! It's fucking easy. Anyway, stay out of that storm. Fuck that storm. So in this moment, Roxanne is realizing through anger, which she understands very well, she can see how she was sowing anger at that moment when she had, like I do, a fucking fundamental choice of 1,000 realities right there. But she chose anger. Now, the memory says it's because it's familiar. But the memory was that after it already was sowed. So she thought it was a reaction, but it wasn't a reaction. It was a goddamn what you put out. Because right now you guys are putting out what you interpret. So you interpret because you guys are getting the interpretation and then reacting. Why? Because everything comes through the filter of the what? Memorex, the memory self. You're in the now thinking, I'm white, I'm religious, I live in Canada, I'm this, I'm that. So all of those truths create your now. Wow. But it's not like you can fake yourself out. Okay, I don't live in Canada. I live in Cambodia. Poof, you're in Cambodia. Not that shit. That's the fucking memory. Not that. You can't. That's why you guys. That's why you guys can't fucking manifest out of thin air because you're using the memory. The memory is a reflection of the self, the creator. You're working with the created. Yeah. Stop trying to create until you realize the self as the creator, and you got to fall in love with that unknown self. What that means, you're going to be absolutely scared to not choose the memory and run back to the safety and fucking security. And that one is the one that sows what it has already repped through the idea of the memory as the truth, and you put out that energy and you're wondering why things don't change because you're living in the memory. And whatever memory you value is the familiarity, so that's why it stays the same. The more things change, the less they change. You guys have the saying on Earth, misery loves company. I mean, do you need a fucking, I don't know, do you need a sign? I'll get you a sign. Flashcards? I'm fucking with you. Okay. Yeah, Paul. I failed to join Wednesday's meeting. Can you tell me about how to watch it on Wednesday? Yeah, we'll send you one. Yeah, Trish, no problem, darling. Let it steep for a second. Just let it sit. There's a skill. It's called musing. I'm going to spell it. M-U-S-E. Muse. M-U-S-E. So as the great Seth, the gestalt of Seth, which is a collective of selves. So what does that mean? That means all of his experiences as the singular creator, his infinite number of selves get together and talk as one unit. And that's the Seth you guys know. And it draws upon a million of itself. But it's not a container. It is not a water bottle. It is an expression of an infinite number of parts, just like the water bottle is. There's a lot of shit going on in this. Look at all the molecules. Look at all the H2Os, the plastics, the glue, the formula that create this. Look how many infinite number of selves are in this fucking water bottle. But you guys perceive it as Seth the Collective. And Seth the Collective talked about the idea of musing. Observe your thoughts. And at the beginning, if you're just now meeting Roxy, it takes a while to get used to the ego, and it's going to kick your ass 3 ways from Wednesday. It's going to make you shit your pants, throw up. It's going to make you afraid, and you're going to run, and you're going to run, and you're going to run right back to the self that's comfortable, safe, and secure, and well known because it's very home base there. It's who you are, not what you are. You're a fucking creator. Who you create is your choice. So, anyways, so muse and watch your thoughts, observe, see where they go. So Roxy got the idea that she was reacting, but she wasn't reacting. She was sewing. In the mirror, you actually sow what you've already reaped, right? So you get the reflection and then you react, and that's reaping, sowing instead of sowing and reaping. It's what you get back and then you put out, in other words. Okay? So when we let that steep in our side, in ourselves for a while, and we let that sit, and we let that sit for a spell, we start to get an experience of the self. And what happens now is that your thoughts about it, if you're not using your memory to try to effort it and figure it out, and then you get confused and there's a frustration in there, which is a telltale sign you're fucking thinking. You stop that and you allow the thoughts, then you open up the dam and you can get intelligence in. Creation says hello. And it matches you because you're a creator. So the intelligence will steep down into the awareness of a conscious self, the awakener, and you'll get the epiphany. And you're like, I got it. All of you have had that, and you'll have more. The more you get out of the way, the faster you get with stuff. But not in the timely fashion of speed that's measured by the human, in the natural timing. But 10 years will get by you, and no one told you because you're sitting there in your mind, living in your memory, trying to figure out what's wrong with you, what's wrong with society, and how you can fix it yourself and how you can fix society, and then you spend your entire lifetime living that pain. That's the human game. Congratulations. You've done it a lot. So you woke up by those conglomeration of selves. And those selves are aware within the gestalt of you, and you are accessing those selves, and they're telling you bedtime stories, memories, DNA ideas, just whims of your mind that come in and get you a movement. And when you react to that movement, you usually run to the memory, and then you're that same self, which is not right or wrong. It's the human game. But when it becomes choice self-realized of the observer looking at the self, looking at the ego, observing the thoughts that are going, why should you do that? Well, yeah, but what about? And I don't know, I'm afraid. All of those ego thoughts that keep you fucking paralyzed in dirty diaper of theory, if you can see that self, then you can choose different. And Roxanne did that work. So now she's in this idea business. She's understanding that creation, all of it, the pencil, the pen, the mugs, the little tiny cute little piglets, are just extensions of her. And they're there for her to experience, but not in purpose. See, purpose turns into image, and image is destroyed and to be repurposed as something idea is cyclic. That's why you guys don't change in the idea of your memory, because you're valuing yourself in the memory. You still seem the same, but you're actually changing because you gave yourself a new memory of the self. Now that's fucked up, isn't it? So anyways, so everything is an extension, so you can use it as a self-exploration tool, because that's what we do. The all are one and the one are all. So what are we doing for you, the singularity? Well, we're giving you the substance so you can know yourself, the constant change, right? And then when you understand the self of the fundamental creator that you are, you start to remember how to create as the creator instead of the created. You guys have been creating yourselves in the idea of reaping, then sowing, because you're reacting to the mirror of memory that tells you the truth. Of course it's true, because all truth is true. But you're in the truth of the self and the memory, and of course you're going to get that idea. And sometimes, all the time, most of the time, who knows? It's up to you. It's a pain in the ass to recognize your own fucking memory. Because it takes a lot of humility to accept you created that self. Why? Because you came here separated. No one's fault. And don't forgive yourself. That's using the Bible. Forgiveness. It was a good tool. But there's rungs of the ladder. You keep holding on to shit, let go. It's up to you. Because that's your journey. Because no one can tell you better or worse. Nobody. These are nice, Roxy. Morgan, right? Yeah, they're nice. I like toys. Lots of things. These are prayer beads. Witches' ladders. She likes them. And she doesn't pray because no one lies outside of her. But yet they're an experience, aren't they? But she relates to them different because they're an extension of her, not an identity. You ready, Paul? All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here for a little bit. We're going to bring Paul in here. You guys know him. You never channeled him, right, Rox? Not in your memory, anyway. Oh, goddamn, that was funny. She goes, holy shit. Yeah, right. And guys, if you got to go, don't worry about it. You'll get a, just make sure you email Roxy and she'll send you a recording. We don't know how long it's going to be because we don't have time. So it could be a long time. I'll be back. Oh. Once again, I have a flock. Oh. The days of shepherding, they lie in the stem of an old rotten apple. Long ago eaten, consumed, lived, and then it became me. I was speaker. It lives in myself. I see it on the roadside. Come with me. Put on, lash them. You know what I'm talking about. Your sandals. Hmm? Fill your canteens. Walk with me. Come with me. Let's walk. We'll walk into my past. I see it. It was a moment in time that I consumed. I followed and became a leader. I was led to realization. I consumed the teachings of my master. Myself was experienced. My words were written. They forged their way through time because they were written in current. Current is everlasting. They never left, for they were enlightened words. Enlightened words span chasms of time within the human. At the time, there was only human. There were so many selves, but Paul was a special self. I remember Paul. You guys remember him too. But I'm wondering if you think it was not you to know Paul. See, in the human, Yeshua was not Paul. He was an expression of a single outside of me. Therefore, I became a follower. And he led me to realize we are the same. Not in behavioral and not in belief, but in fiber, in material, in creation whole. Words that are not written in my histories, rather words that are written on the hearts of men, women, children. They lie in the trees, in the dusts, in the graves, in the skins of the animals that you wear. The words are always. And he showed me that when I became as my master, the only thing I realized was my divinity. For I had lost my image. I knew not myself any longer. Myself was lost down this path that we journeyed together. The dust is heavy, The rocks are sharp. The day grows hot. And the water subsides. But yet we journey together, for we are banded in love. And we can walk together, not in effort, but in humility. For I wanted to be more than I was. And I never realized what I was always more than I could have ever dreamed to be. When I stopped living myself as not and start living myself as I am, then I realized my master was no longer outside of me. And he was no longer inside of me. He was me. I understood the story finally. And I wrote my story. It may have been slanged, but the words are fibrous, filled with nourishment of wisdom that crack through the walls of beliefs, that navigate through the perils of time, and always find their mark, hit true in the hearts of mankind, of human. You are journeying in your memory to know yourself as already. I found myself through a master. There are no more masters. Things change. The time, the frame was an allowable extension of the self evolving. The self is the embodiment of humanity, the Christ body. The embodiment of humanity was the self that only knew its limits until change is offered. You have left the age of as above, thank you, Roxanne, and below. The silver cord has been evolved. This is the time of no masters outside. The master class is realized. You can master yourself in discipline, and you can master yourself in discipleship. I was a disciple. I did not discipline myself. The discipleship was the journey of self-love. Nothing has changed in that fashion. It takes courage. It takes humility. It takes sowing the internal so you may not reap the distractions any further. For within is the kingdom. That self sown will reap the harvest of self-love. The distraction that lies in memory, identity, comfort and security, imagery that fouls itself with loathing and victimization and prides itself in accomplishment and status. You sow that, you will reap that, which is now mastered as choice. I have chosen. And it's not a choice of evolution in attained product, attained imagery. It has chosen self-love. My master blinded me with his love for himself, not for others. For himself. So may we see the same within ourselves. So I say unto ye, my disciples, flock together in their own mastery. I should say, forge your own path and look back on none. Find the way that lies within and enlighten your own journey using nothing but courage and will to forge the unknowable reality that lies forever in front of you. To my masters, I bid you. Well, Roxy is having an emotion. It's not wrong. Slide took off. He got it. It's not wrong to feel this moment. Don't push off your feelings. And I'll end tonight's with this. To know yourself as a master must know yourself as the now you are. Any hindrance or reflection staving off the truth of you and creating a reflection of seeding your reactionary self once again because you are afraid of your true self now, then you will cycle that memory as value. That valuable self creates the vortex and attracts those circumstances so you may know them not as punishment, but as choice. You can change. And there's no book, there's no directions, there's no manual on humanity. No creation anywhere knows how to do anything. We're always knowing ourselves in the now. So what you are to know is to be accepted, lived, expressed in the most unhindered way manageable and possible to your own will in the now. And whoever is in your way Give them no. Give them not 1 ounce of care nor concern for your behavior, for you will only darken your own discovery, because this is an inside job and they are reflections of you as choice. Oh, you will hurt some people's feelings, but it's not you that's hurting them. It's their interpretation of their reflected self that concedes you as painful. They are the translators of their own kingdom, and honor them for them. Do not dumb them down and protect anyone, because no one is in peril save the perils that you perceive through your truce of time.